Hello, my name is Catherine Thompson, and today I'm here with my grandpa, Bud Thompson, and today we will be talking about the general feeling in America during World War II, going into D-Day, and being in the Navy during World War II. So, Grandpa, what was the feeling like before we entered the war?
Well, the Germans the Germans had invaded Poland in September of 1939, and the British were always trying to get us involved because of the magnitude of our armies and navy and so forth. And so, in 1939, I was about 14 years old. So things didn't really concern us too much until on December 7th, 1941, when we learned that the Japanese had attacked Pearl Harbor.
'Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of the Senate, of the House of Representatives, yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
How did you feel after the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor?
Well, the day that it happened, it was a Sunday, and there's a time difference. They attacked at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I believe it was somewhere around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon that my friends and I were shooting pool, and we had the radio on listening to the Brooklyn Dodger football team. They did have a football team. What do you call it? Major league stuff. And it just shocked us all.
It's a long one down to around the 3-yard line. Ward Cup takes it. He's cutting up to his left. He's over the 10. Nice block there by Lehman. Cup still going. He's up to the 25. And now he's hit and hit hard about the 27-yard line. Bruiser Kennard made the tackle. We interrupt this broadcast and bring you this important bulletin from the United Press. Flash, Washington. The White House announces Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor.
We just stopped doing what we were doing, and everybody just didn't even say anything. We all went home. They did have a draft at the time. When you turned 18 years of age, you had to sign. You had to go down and put your name in that you were eligible for the draft. Well, to me it was kind of cowardly, so I didn't like that idea. So I decided that I was going to join the Navy, but I had to do it before I turned 18. So I had an after-school job down in Water Street, which someday would have been home to the Twin Towers. In that area, that's where I worked. It was all warehouses. And I signed up at 67 Broad Street in New York City, and I wasn't 18 as yet. And they allowed me to finish high school because we had graduations in January and in June of each year. And since I worked in the area, after about a week went by and I didn't hear anything from the Navy, I would stop there almost every day, find out what's happening. And they assured me, don't worry about it, we'll eventually get around to you. On January the 16th, day before I turned 18, I was sworn into the Navy. And I wasn't called until about a month later. I had graduated from school then, high school. And a month later, I got the word, and I was on my way to Great Lakes United States Navy Training Center in Great Lakes in Chicago, Illinois. And I believe I was there until about May, and came home on leave after boot camp, and was then assigned to New Orleans, where they called it a outgoing units. And I stayed there for probably a week or two, and was assigned a ship which was being built in Jacksonville, Florida. So I hung around there for another month or two until the ship was completed. It was the USS YMS 352. The YMS stood for Yard Minesweeper. Like the duties were to operate out of a port and come back in every night. If you understand, you had the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and you had the Charleston Navy Yard, so that's where the word yard got into the minesweeper thing. The reason for the ship being built of wood was to counteract the magnetic mines, which were attracted by metal. So that kind of
negated it.
Yeah, it almost negated it, not completely, but I mean your chances were pretty good that you would not pick up a magnetic mine. We had a reel on the back, and about that wide they were. It was all wires in there, all copper, and we used to stream that out behind us, and then send out electric pulses, and then that would blow up the mines behind us, okay? They were magnetic mines too. And then you had moored mines. For them we had explosive cutters. They were like big jaws with an explosive in it, and if it came across a mine that was on a cable, it would come across, and when it hit that chain, it would blow up, like, you know, cut it, and then the mine would come to the surface, and you destroy it by gunfire. Then we had what they call a shakedown cruise, where you try out everything on the ship to make sure that everything is working order. And that took us to about, let me see, maybe about August of 43. And then sometime in December, we left Norfolk, Virginia, and we sailed up the East Coast, and we joined a convoy, which was made up of hundreds of ships. And we were on our way. We didn't know where we were going, but eventually we wound up in Falmouth, England, and that was in January. It took us about 2 weeks, I believe. I know we spent Christmas at sea because one of the what do you call them? One of the non-combatant type ships ran up a Christmas tree on the mast on Christmas Day. That's how we knew it was Christmas. So we got to England, in Falmouth, England, I guess around the 3rd or 4th of January. Well, we all knew that there was something going to happen where we had to get to the mainland of Europe. So all the time we were in England, we were in every seaport along the southern English coast, and we did training exercises. In fact, we did more towing exercises than we did sweeping, mine sweeping. But we also did that too. And suddenly, one day, we had problems with our engine, so we wound up in Scotland, because there were American engineers up there, and they tuned up our engines. Whatever was wrong with them, they fixed them, and we came back down. And on the June the 5th, when we pulled into Plymouth Harbor, we noticed all of these ships were all loaded down with soldiers. And then we knew something was coming up. The invasion was postponed one day because of bad weather. We only had a very small window, or it would have been canceled completely because of bad weather in the area. So anyway, I guess around midnight of the 5th, we all got underway, and we started our trip across the English Channel, sweeping mines, and when we got closer to the French coast. And yeah, then we were, after we did that, they had us position ourselves to ward off ships from an area that they thought might possibly have mines in it. And that was the beginning of the invasion of Omaha Beach. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for letting me interview you for my presentation.
Okay.